Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
And hello and welcome to episode 143 of On The Bench, the podcast by scale modelers, for scale modelers, all about scale models. And this show we're going to be doing a review on our recent world trip across the pond to visit everybody at IPMS Nationals in Omaha, Nebraska. We've got a lot to talk about, and it'll be interesting to see what our perspective is and what the boys have to say. I know I had one heck of a good time and can't wait to relate to you, the listeners, everything that we saw, did, all the people we met, and the fantastic time we had. In the meantime, don't forget, if you want to support the show, you can do so via Patreon. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 per month upwards. Your support is appreciated and it helps us with our hosting costs. So if you've got a spare $1 a month, just pop over and think about On The Bench. Alright, well I think the boys are just about here, so how about let's get on with the show. And hello and welcome to the show, and in the studio with me I have Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day listeners.
And of course Julian.
Good morning.
Oh, look how bright you sound.
Yeah, I know. I've had the the Dave Goldfinch breakfast extravaganza, so I'm
Pumped.
yeah, I'm pumped.
And real coffee as well.
Yes. It's really good. I couldn't help myself. I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Oh, there you go. Well, listeners, we are back from our monumental trip all around, well, wasn't quite all around the world, but certainly to the US and back again.
Yep.
So we've got so much to talk about, but let's start off first of all about the actual trip. So I'll just step back, and so we went from Australia to Hawaii, spent 4 days there.
Yep.
Which was absolutely awesome.
That was amazing. For me, it was good getting out of winter and going into a summer environment. And
well, the heat was a shock, wasn't it?
the heat was brilliant. I really enjoyed the heat.
Yeah.
It was really good just to let it soak into the bones.
Yes.
And the atmosphere was just great. I just had an absolute ball there.
Hawaii has to be one of my favourite places to go to. I've been there that's about the 8th time I've been there now.
Oh, well.
And I just love it as a destination to go to and somewhere just to chill.
Yeah.
It was
totally
really
agree.
super cool.
Yeah, as you know, I didn't want to leave.
You didn't. I had to drag him back on the plane. I said, come on, we're going to get to Omaha.
I don't want to go. I like it here. Can I live as a bum on the beach?
We had a great time in Hawaii. So we ended up at the big museums. Of course, we went to see the Missouri.
And the
Bofin, which was both spectacular.
I keep forgetting the name of the Bofin.
Yeah, the Baleo class submarine.
I just keep thinking, is it blowfish? Is it is it bowstring? I can't remember. It always escapes me.
Yeah, all American submarines during the Second World War were named after fish.
Mm. And that's I've got to give the Yanks a huge tick. They do their museums so well.
Oh yeah,
they do them so well.
They're so easy to navigate. And
yep.
There's so many of them. They're so full of stuff.
So much information there as well.
Yep. And the models.
Oh yeah, the models really go.
The museum models were just amazing.
So what are your thoughts about the Missouri? Because you've never seen it before.
You get an idea by seeing photos that it's quite a large ship.
Yep.
But it doesn't actually hit you till you step off the bus.
Yeah.
And you look up and up and up and up and up, and it just keeps going and going, and it's just absolutely huge.
She's a big ship, isn't she?
And those big 16-inch guns, it's just hard to comprehend how big those guns are.
Even the 5-inch guns are quite large, aren't they?
The 5-inch, the Mark 38s,
yeah, they're huge as well.
But it's a great museum ship. It really is.
I got lost in Missouri because you guys went one way and I went another way. And
Yeah, because you can get lost in the bowels quite easily.
Yeah.
It's a pretty much a rabbit warren down there. And,
well, I didn't get lost. Just got separated. Yeah.
But and so much to see on there, so much information and
Yep.
and so forth. And
History.
Got to see the spot where the Japanese surrendered after the end of the Second World War, and the damage on the side from the kamikaze attack. It was just mind numbing. I absolutely loved it. I took so many photos.
Well, didn't we all?
Well, being a modeller, I just gone, I've got a model of this ship, so I'm just going to, any spot that I know that I can add detail to, I just took photos and just went bananas.
Yeah.
Not sure I'm going to recreate it in 1:350 scale, but I have the reference.
Yeah. And of course, you went across to the Air Museum there on the island.
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty good. They've got a B5N2 Kate, which was fascinating to see a Kate, even though it's a complete wreck, but it's still a Kate. That was really good to see. They've got a B-25 Mitchell from the Doolittle raid, the Ruptured Duck. What else? They have a Dauntless. Never seen it. And that's a good thing about going over there. It's just seeing the aircraft that we don't have here in Australia.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just
They had a Wildcat.
a Wildcat, yes, Grumman Wildcat. I took a fair few photos of that, which came in handy. Later on, when you find out why, it was just really amazing. The only sad thing was that they've dumped a lot of aircraft in the lot, and they're rotting away, which is a real shame.
Look, so for listeners who don't know or have never been to Hawaii before, there's particularly the Air Museum there. There's like a modern section where the really
The new building, all the aircraft in it are, perfect and shiny and amazing.
and then there's the other section outside where you've got a lot of aircraft sitting outside, but there's a large hangar there which still has a bullet holes from World War II. Correct,
yes.
Which was awesome sort of to see, sort of way of touching history. And when I was last there, all the aircraft, the F-111, so there's an RAAF F-111 there, which Australia gifted back to the US.
Yep.
And last time I was there, that and the thuds were all sitting inside, but for some reason they've been dragged outside. Now, I don't know whether it's just a temporary thing while I do work inside.
Fingers crossed it is.
Yeah, because that sun in Hawaii is punishing, and
just see how faded the paint jobs are, and how it's affecting the perspex glazings on the aircraft. And
but the thing that I love about it is you can go up and actually touch the aircraft.
Yeah.
They're not behind velvet ropes, and I've just time and time again. History is not meant to be viewed behind a velvet rope. You're supposed to go up and be able to, touch it and smell it and feel it.
The only problem with touching is eventually you'll wear
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
And you run the chance of things getting damaged. And what I found quite amazing was how they got a F-104 Starfighter and how thin the leading edge is on an F-104.
Because you took a photo just showing how thin that was. You had your fingers on the edge of the leading edge.
It's just absolutely thin. Like it's probably 6-7 mil thin. It's just really knife edge.
Yep.
And so stumpy, the wings. Just a missile with short wings.
Missile with a man in it, I think the terminology.
Yeah.
So from there we flew to Omaha, which we'll skip because we want to talk about that.
You forgot one thing.
Oh, what's that?
We went to Punch Bowl.
Punch Bowl, yes. I desperately want to take you guys to Punch Bowl because that's Punch Bowl Cemetery is not something that's necessarily on all the tourists'
No, it was
maps.
very quiet there.
And it's the Pacific War cemetery, and it has to be one of the.
It's also got Vietnam in there as well.
Pacific War, Vietnam's in Pacific, I guess, or East Asia. But it's not a lot of tourists are aware of it, but it is such a well constructed and very thought out, and pays beautiful homage to those who lost their lives. Defending.
And there's like all these pillars going up either side as you're walking to the main section, and there just must be thousands. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe close to 500 names or 1,000 names per pillar.
Thousands of names,
and they're all the names of people they've never found.
Lost at sea,
lost in the jungles. Occasionally, you'll see like a little bronze star next to a name, which means they've managed to find that person and intern them. But that really hits you home for just the sheer loss. Like, with normal war cemetery, you have the graves everywhere, but to actually see the names of so many people that the families couldn't fully grieve.
It's not just a number anymore. It's
You
see the number as a physical representation.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And then up the back, it's got this mural that starts from the beginning of the Pacific War and goes right through the end, and even incorporates Korea and Vietnam as well. And that mural, just a work of art that you need to go and see and have a look and really comprehend it.
Definitely.
Because it's just absolutely extremely well done.
Yeah, well, quite honoured to be able to go there and pay our respects. It was, very good.
And on top of that, there's a fantastic viewing platform up on the right-hand side at Punch Bowl where you can look down on Honolulu and look down onto the airfields and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just a sensational place to go up and sort of look down on the rest of the island.
Yeah. But one thing I've mentioned to a few people when I got back is what really freaked me out about Hawaii is there's no seagulls.
It's not, is it?
No seagulls at all. Saw some mongoose.
Lots of chickens running around.
Oh, yeah, chickens. Wild cats, wild pigs. But the last day while we were there, we had some time up our sleeves, so we decided to go for a cruise around the perimeter and take some touristy shots. And we were driving through this, little backwatery town somewhere, and all the houses are half collapsed and just didn't look like a very affluent area. And as we're driving through, Julian's gone, hobby shop.
That's right.
So we've done a quick U-turn, parked, went in there, and it's like this little skinny little shop where the guys are probably making more money out of cutting keys than selling models. And
it was sort of like models, key cutting, and science fiction books and rock and roll memorabilia type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go and get the name of the shop. So you guys keep talking while I go dig out the name of the shop.
Now, to add to the story is for the last 5 years I've been chasing the old Tamiya M3 Stewart, the very old one. And while we were there, I was having a look around, and so I spoke to the proprietor and I said, you wouldn't have this kit floating around. And lo and behold, he comes up about 5 minutes later with the exact kit I've been after that I haven't been able to find anywhere worldwide for 5 years, still wrapped up in its original plastic.
Yeah, so like he does... he buys up deceased estates.
Yeah,
is what we found out.
Yeah,
and that's the only place you're going to find an old out of production kit.
Exactly.
Like that. You can't find that on the shelf of any regular hobby shop.
Very true.
Or on the internet, really.
Yep. But that was just like an added bonus that I actually walked away with a model kit that I've been chasing for so long.
Yeah.
For a really good price. He only wanted $12 for it, but I said, no, take 20. Take 20.
Tom Weller's Hobbycraft.
Yes.
767 Kailua Road, Kailua, Hawaii. Have I pronounced that right? Kailua. Kailua? Oh, jeez, I don't know.
Let me see. What is it? Maybe Kailua.
Kailua, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Oh, and don't forget, we also found a distillery.
Yes, we did, yes.
Parley Road Distillery.
That was
Old Parley
cool.
Road,
yeah,
yes.
That was excellent.
They got this nice young lady who makes the whiskey there.
Who would have thought you'd make whiskey in Hawaii?
Yeah.
And moonshine as well.
And gin.
And gin.
Yeah, because Julian and I got to taste her non-proofed gin, which was experimental gin, which was good. You could put on an aeroplane off it. It was really good.
So Old Parley Road Distillery is owned by two former Marine Recon guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Who wanted to make whiskey and go surfing.
Yes. And while we were there, they were actually surfing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. While the nice young lady was running the shop.
Yeah.
But that was great.
She was really amazing. Like her level of professionalism towards making alcohol was just astounding. Like she'd built all the distillery.
She actually built it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Clever girl.
Very clever girl.
And that whiskey was so good. But what surprised me when she gave us the moonshine was how smooth it was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was expecting, to drink
Battery
rocket
acid.
fuel. Yeah, something like that. But
Take the
was
skin off the
awesome.
back of your throat.
Well, she did explain that like moonshine is more like a marketing term.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Hawaii was just so awesome.
So from Hawaii, we went to Omaha, but we'll hold off on Omaha to talk about that with in the bulk of the show. But after,
by the way, remember we also bought a bottle of the old Pally Road whiskey.
we did,
And we left it in the hands of
Dave and Mike from Plastic Model Mojo.
Those are the hands you want to leave things in. I mean, not if you want to keep them, not if you want them to stick around, but if you want a proper appraisal.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure they'll get to sort of, and we'll talk a bit more about Mike and Kentucky Dave in a minute, but they're very much appreciative of that little drop that we left them.
Very true.
So, as I said, we went to Omaha, but we'll skip talking about that. We went to DC afterwards,
Yes.
which impressed me so much as a beautiful, clean city.
Yes, very, very clean.
Yeah.
I like the architecture. The
Architect-
older buildings
yeah,
were
architecture's
absolutely amazing.
Gorgeous.
Went and saw the Lincoln Memorial,
Yep.
which is very big, very impressive. What else we see there? Oh, you have to go see the White House, of course. We saw that at night.
It just looked like a white glowing building.
Yeah.
You can't even take photos of it at night, so don't even
Oh, no, I
try.
took a good photo. I got a really good photo.
Really? It just looked like a black background with a white square.
No, I've got a more modern phone than you, so
My photo turned out pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I ended up helping out that Secret Service guy who was chasing.
Oh, that was so funny. So we're sitting in the park. It's on just opposite the south lawn of the White House, and there's a park there for people who know what it is. And we're just sitting there having a rest because we'd walked for miles and miles and miles. So I'm just sitting there having a rest. And the Secret Service guy comes up to us and said, "What do you say? Hey, have you guys seen someone or something?"
Yeah, some guy.
And so Julian and I go, Julian and I go, no.
Well, I knew who he was talking about because the guy had been sitting sort of on another bench, like diagonally opposite us. But after that, I have no recollection of where he went. I wasn't paying attention to
And
that
of course, you did that, Ian, didn't you?
Yeah, I spotted him. He got up and took off down the street. So I've gone, he took off down there about 5 minutes ago. So I don't know what he was in trouble for, but
There you go. That's your dealing.
Did my good deed for the day.
You're dealing with the law, and not only the law, but the Secret Service.
Law, yes.
That's very impressive.
That was so good. Go on.
Yeah, and then we went and had a steak at
Steak.
what was it? Something in Schmick's.
Yeah, something.
It was just
in
around the corner from us. It was
Just
like,
off.
It was
What
the
street were we on?
closest.
We were on K Street.
K Street. Yeah.
It was just not for any particular reason other than it was close and it was open because there were a few others that were close and closed. And then the following day, I think it was, we went to the other bar, the bar that everyone recommends.
Yes.
Oh, the old. Gosh, it's the oldest saloon
Starts with
in
an E, I think.
Washington.
Everett or something.
Everett.
Ebbett.
Yeah,
the old Ebbett.
Yeah,
Ebbett and
The old Ebbett.
Grill.
Yeah.
Ebbett Grill or something like
Ebbett
that.
Bar and Grill,
That's right.
where they've got all the steins that apparently all the American presidents have drank out of all these different steins.
And all the dead animals from that president who used to run around shooting everything. What's his name? Teddy? Was it Teddy Roosevelt?
Teddy Roosevelt, yes.
Allegedly,
Yes.
I believe.
No, I believe them. I believe them.
Well, I'm
But the
sure that
problem
he
with
shot
it-
a lot of things.
But
So
I
I'm
can
sure
tell
there would
you
have been.
There was one president who didn't mind his alcohol because one of those steins was like a vase. It was huge.
A vase, if you're American, remember? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it looked like a you know the old kind of like Greek vase type
the
thing.
urn.
Yeah, like an urn. It looks like
Amphora.
it looks like an amphora kind of thing. Yeah. It was big.
It's so
That was
funny.
awesome.
And of course, in Washington, of all places, we bump into Ivan Jensen from Plastic Posse Podcast.
Yes.
And his mum, so...
Was that his mum?
Yeah, it was his mum.
Oh, okay.
So he came over with his mum, and his mum stayed and had a look around Washington while he went on to Omaha, and then
I
he
see.
came back and
Yep.
hooked up with her, and they went home.
He's great value, Ivan.
Oh, yeah.
What a great guy.
We'll talk
Funny as all
more. We'll
get out.
talk more about all the other podcast
But
dudes
we
later
haven't
on the
touched
show.
on the main thing that we went to do when we were in Washington.
Yes.
It's the National Air and Space Museum in Dulles.
Oh my God, mine was
Never
blown.
seen anything like it.
No.
What's it called? Udvar.
Udvar Hazy.
Yeah, Udvar Hazy. And people said to us, your mind's going to be blown. And we went, yeah,
It's
whatever.
a national treasure, and yes, we do fully agree. It is an American national treasure. Over, was it 300 aircraft under the roof? And just aircraft you'll never see anywhere. Dornier 335 Arrow.
The space shuttle.
Yes, the space shuttle was amazing to see the space shuttle. What else they have? What freaked Julian and myself out was how small an Arado 223 jet bomber.
234.
Well, 234 is.
Yeah, dude, that's small.
Tiny.
Compare it to that, the
Dornier
the
335.
Dornier 335, which is huge.
Yeah. And the Tynkel 219, which is nearly finished.
Yeah,
Looks really amazing.
Yeah.
Focke-Wulf 190, I think it was an F model, an F8, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 219, apart from a little bit on the nose tip, it's complete.
Yeah. But another aircraft that really surprised me how small it was the Ki 45 Torio.
Yeah.
Tiny.
That was tiny for a two-seater. That is such a small, narrow little aeroplane. They had the fuselage of that there. What got me, they had a kicker, the Japanese version of the 262.
Yep.
Jet fighter, yeah.
They-
They're just missing its engines, right?
Yeah,
And it was sitting on like a
little
pallet or something.
Yeah, a little trolley. What else? The Japanese stuff they had. Oh, they had the Shinden, the nose of a Shinden.
Yeah,
So I'm presuming the rest of the parts will be stored somewhere. And Ocker, but the jet-powered Ocker, not the rocket-powered.
So, for those who don't know, the Shinden is the thing that is powered by a propeller at the rear.
Yeah.
And it's got the canard wings at the front.
Yep.
It's very sci-fi.
Oh,
looking,
yeah. Very, very hot. Like,
Probably,
beyond its age, really.
Looks like it belongs in the computer game Pirates of the Skies or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
like a lot of those sort of games and TV shows took a lot of it.
And they've done a beautiful job with the
inspiration.
restoration on the Gecko Night Fighter.
Yes.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
N1K1 George
Yep.
was there as well.
I quite like twin engine planes that are very small. Speaking of which, the Black Widow was a lot smaller than I thought it would be as well.
Yeah, I thought the Black Widow was going to be a lot bigger. What else we see?
SR-71, Blackbird.
SR-71, Tomcats.
The unrestored P-38.
Yes, that was nice. The Lightning.
Man,
You see all the weathering on the wings and all the paint chipping and so forth.
And Flak Bait was getting restored.
Restored.
They're doing a Stormovic as well.
Yeah,
One there.
redoing an IL-2.
Yeah.
they had another Wildcat in there.
Yes.
That's right. They did too.
Amelia Earhart's Lockheed Vega.
Vega, yeah.
They had a SPAD.
Yep.
They had a Fokker D7.
This is all in the restoration.
Yeah,
area.
all this stuff that I'm
And
rambling
a
off is in the
D5
restoration
and a
area.
and a D5, the famous Throp.
They had,
But we spent at least 5 hours there.
Yeah. Easily.
And I must. This is where I must put a shout out to Patrick Kaiser,
yes.
because he came out and met us there, and poor guy should have stuck around because he did it before, and we've actually had him on the show once before, and he's talking about all his stuff that he does. He does video and everything, all that sort of stuff.
And his interest is mountain troops.
Yeah, and he does. He grew up during the early stages of the space era, and goes down to Florida quite a bit to do filming down there.
Yeah, 'cause he's
But so he hung around with us and was kind enough to take us to a lovely microbrewery in which we had some tacos.
yes,
and then,
traditional proper tacos.
yeah.
To get here.
No, and then drove us all the way back home, which was wonderful of
Yeah,
him.
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely guy. Fantastic guy to
Yeah.
talk to. Full of information.
Oh, 100%.
Friendly as all get out.
Oh, wasn't he just?
Yeah.
So thanks very much, Patrick, for that. We really appreciate you taking
Definitely.
the day off to come out and show us around.
Yeah, too true.
So it was really cool.
But yeah, if you're ever in Washington, you got to go to the NASM. It's a must. It's it'll just keep you occupied like nothing on earth.
And the only person we did miss in DC was Stephen Lee from Sprue Pie with Frets. He was going to try and catch up with us, but unfortunately he was stuck with work, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
So next time, mate, we should even get him on the show 'cause he's such an interesting guy. He's got an interesting blog.
Yes,
So-
I totally agree.
I need to talk to him one day. So, shall we circle back to the huge reason why we actually went? How about before that?
hang on, can I just circle back to the Missouri?
Oh, yes, please.
I was the opposite of Ian. I thought it was smaller than it.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up watching Under Siege with Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they used fake sets for a lot of the action sequences. Otherwise, people would be banging their heads on the ceiling.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. So it was the CIC was bigger in the show than it was on the actual
Yeah,
ship.
a lot of all the internal scenes.
Well, that's
and
Hollywood
things.
for you, man.
Yeah, I know. But that was my impression of it, and it really cemented itself in my head as the first impression.
But how was the thickness of the Citadel?
Yes,
The armour on the
yes,
Citadel.
yes.
That is just, it's what, nearly 2 foot thick?
It seemed like that one.
It is just massive. Absolutely massive, how thick that is.
Yeah,
You
stunning.
certainly wouldn't want to get your fingers caught in that door.
No.
All right, how about we have a quick advertisement from SMS, and then we'll be back to actually talk about why the main reason we went over to the US. So we'll be back very shortly. The Scale Model Supply. Certified Australian made, the Scale Model Supply has a comprehensive range of premium acrylic lacquer paints that have been specifically developed to cater to the scale modeler. Designed to use straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake, pour and spray for a fast drying and extremely durable result. But wait, there's more. SMS have just released the new water-based range, Infinite Colour. It is the ideal paint for anyone who is into miniature painting. And with 48 colours that can be mixed to create any colour you want, the possibilities are, well, infinite. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, aircraft, train, car, science fiction, or even Gunpla. SMS paints will have a colour to suit you. Available now through selected stockists worldwide and online at www.scalemodeler.com.au. Okay, so we're back, and let's have a chat about actually getting to Omaha. But before we dive into talking about the actual show itself and what we saw there and what was absolutely awesome about the whole thing, we can't go past the fact that one of the best highlights was meeting people, in particular the other podcasts.
Definitely. What a great bunch of guys.
So we caught up with the guys from Plastic Model Mojo, Dave and Mike,
Yep.
who represent what true Southern gentlemen should be and
Correct.
are.
Yes.
And we just had the best time catching up with those two guys. We had breakfast with them about every day, and that was for me. That was one of the highlights. You know, just sitting down and yakking with those guys.
Yeah. Sneaking into an area to eat where we weren't really allowed to.
But the funny thing is, with Dave and Mike, they had the Mojo Dojo,
Yes.
which was like they got in their hotel room. They had like a little lounge room, I guess, separate from the bedroom. And we got there on the Wednesday evening, and the Mojo Dojo was running Wednesday night, so I went up there.
And myself, yeah.
He ended up, that's right. Poor Julian, I think you were feeling a bit ill that particular day.
I didn't get to experience any of this.
So we went up there, and there were a cast of thousands up there.
Yep.
There must have been, if there was one, there was 40 people in that room.
Oh yeah, there was. Oh, you couldn't move, and there was whiskey everywhere.
There was
All
whiskey and
different
drinks, and it was just so good. And despite what David and Mike say, yes, there was an issue there because they had so many people. And no, it wasn't hotel security. It was a local Omaha PD who came and shut us down that particular evening.
That's right. The fun police showed up.
The fun police showed up and said, hello, what's going on here?
Time to call it a night, boys.
Oh, geez, it was so funny.
That was great.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And it's really good to see the way they got that little sort of shtick going, and it's their sort of vibe, and there were so many people that sort of came by and dropped in, and I was there again on the last night that we were there, and there's a whole lot of interesting people dropping in, and more whiskey yet again.
Yes. Very true. Very, very true.
So it was really cool catching up with those guys. Of course, then there was the model geeks who we caught up with as well.
Yep.
So there was D-Ran, Whitey, Frildo, and Samo. Oh my God, Frildo! Did you shake his hand?
Yeah. The guy's got a grip like a bear.
Oh my God, nearly broke my hand.
That was good. Finally, made a guy with a man's handshake.
A man's handshake, it's like a gorilla's handshake. Oh gosh, it was so fun. And Samo, he's such a funny guy.
Yes,
he really is.
Totally agree.
Unbelievable. And of course, the Plastic Posse podcast, which had a cast of thousands.
Yeah, it's a big group, isn't it?
It's a huge group.
Yeah.
And there was, Scott Gentry, of course.
Yes.
Who's, kicked the whole thing off, I think, from memory.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just such a lovely guy.
He's top bloke.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was Doug?
Doug, Snake Man Doug.
Yep. Yes.
So I didn't actually get to speak to that many people. I hadn't spent as much time out there saying hello to people as everyone else because I was feeling under the weather. And Doug, I got to spend quite a bit of time talking to Doug in the sickest period of the time that I was there, which was when I got off the plane, basically. I would have actually just gone back to my room and slept, but you messaged me and said, "Come on down," and everyone's standing there in a big group. Oh, we're going down to the liquid something or other for drinks and burgers and things.
Yeah, that's right. We had dinner with the Plastic Posse on the first night we were there.
Yeah, that's right.
We walked in the door and, a table for 17 people, please.
Yeah.
They were so accommodating. Yeah,
They were. And
yeah.
they admitted that they couldn't serve us.
Oh, but geez, there was so many guys from the Plastic Posse. So there was obviously Scott Gentry. There was Ivan Jensen, Ian Bonner, TJ,
hell yeah.
He's an awesome modeller.
Yes.
He cleaned up there. I think he walked away with about 4 awards.
John
Banani. You can't forget John. And I think I've already mentioned Scott, didn't I?
Yep.
He was sensational. And then...
17 people there.
I know.
How can you keep track?
Grant was another guy. I don't know.
I could only keep track of the people that were directly around me at the time.
Yeah, because we sat at a long table, so it was
It was
hard.
a very long table, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I confused the waiter by shifting seats because I decided to let's all just split up, and rather than sit in a group, we'll just mix with everyone else, which was really good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then we caught up also with Will Patterson from the Sprue Cutters Union.
Legend. Absolute legend of a man.
Wow.
I mean, I've met some great people before, but Will just takes the cake. He's just one of the most awesome human beings I've met in a long time.
Just such a straight up and down guy too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely got so much respect for the man. He's just so cool. And we hit it off pretty quickly.
I know, it was good. I could tell funny stories about Will, but they're not for being recorded on air.
No, very true. And
I believe you've got a couple of stories as well.
I've got some stories of Will. Yeah, Will and I got a few shenanigans, but we had a great time. We hit it off like mines, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, my interactions with him were very much the same as when we've had him on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, just without the necessity to talk about models and things so strictly,
Yeah, totally agree. Great guy. Great modeller, great guy, great ambassador to the hobby.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Great ambassador for America.
And I caught up with him just like a split moment after the incident where his mobility scooter caught the edge of the tablecloth and pulled 1 or 2 models off the table. I mean, he was mortified.
He was. Yeah.
But
but it was Duke's model tank that came off, and they're good mates anyway, so it wasn't as bad.
What Matt was saying, it was basically just a matter of gluing about 4 pieces back together. It was all ready to rock and roll again.
Yeah, but there were some issues with the tablecloth that I think we'll go into that sort of later on when we talk about the show itself. So it certainly wasn't Will's fault.
No, not.
And
look, I nearly took a tablecloth with me with just my foot.
Yeah.
I felt something on my foot getting dragged, and luckily I looked down and spotted it. Otherwise, it could have been a big disaster. And look, the international guys destroying all our kits. But another thing that we got to also talk about is the listeners we met up with.
Well, there was first of all there was the round table where all the podcasts.
Yes, that's right. We'll get into that. Yeah.
That
was a real humbling experience for us.
The Q&A. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where we got with all the other podcasts in a room and had the general public there asking us questions, and which was great.
Passing the microphone up and
Passing
down.
the microphone up and down, we'd all have our say, and it was just the vibe we got was just. I honestly didn't realise how popular we were.
Yeah.
Well, we're just 3 regular guys who have regular jobs and do this for fun on every second Saturday. To actually be treated the way we were was just mind-numbing. It was just, I just wasn't expecting it. It was really, really good. And the other good thing about the round table was we got to find out what the next Moosaroo Cup build is.
Before you talk about that, the last thing that happened at the round table was that Scott Gentry at the very end asked the 3 of us to stand up, didn't he?
Yep.
And just acknowledged that we were the original guys.
Yep.
And that we sort of, he acknowledged that we were the ones that kicked off and sort of said that they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for what we had started.
Yeah.
And that was just so humbling.
It was.
To be acknowledged that way in a public space. And Scott, I've got to get you back for that one day, man. I love you for it and really appreciate what you said and the sentiment behind it. But, dude, I've got to get you back one day somehow.
I found it quite a surreal moment.
Yeah.
I was sort of I just stood there like a stunned fish.
Yeah. I see. This is the thing, that the relationship we have our listeners, because we just sit here, as Ian said, on a Saturday, every second Saturday, and we talk into a mic, and sometimes we get some really cool dudes on, and we talk, models and stuff.
Yeah, we don't really see the
you don't
the congregating listeners.
No, and to actually meet. I mean, I had a couple of guys come up and say to me, how much our podcast meant to them, and there was
especially during COVID. Like, I can't remember how many people we saved their sanity during COVID.
Yep. And there was one particular guy we had a moment together where we actually both had a bit of a cry together over what had been happening in our lives and everything, and it was a very touching and sort of humbling. You just don't realise the impact you're having on another individual.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's so interesting because that now, I guess, shapes how I interact with people now moving forward in the future, because you just don't know.
Oh, it was a life-changing experience.
Yes, the words that you say, what the impact they can have on somebody.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely stunning. Oh.
So,
I'm getting a bit cheery thinking about it.
so we got the Moosaroo Cup builds handed to us.
Yes, so that's right. The Moosaroo Cup got handed to us, and of course, Kentucky Dave, I'm going to say that he rigged it.
Why is that?
Well, because it's 72nd scale, and that's in his wheelhouse, quote unquote.
Yes, but
so what was it, Ian? What did you get to build?
Originally we got an email saying, and the email was quite ominous.
Yes,
saying that you can rescribe, you can do this and that, you got to do everything, you can't use any parts that aren't in the box, and only the kit decals. And everyone's thinking, what sort of Airfix kit have they got for us?
Or frog kit
have they got for us? And lo and behold, we all ended up getting the Armour 172nd scale P51B/C.
Wow,
which is
Armour Hobby,
which is a stunning kit. Yeah. To actually have it in my hands and look at the detail, it's like a 48 scale Edward kit, but made smaller.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Arguably the best 72nd scale kits out there.
Yeah.
Well, see, I would never have considered buying an Armour kit until I actually saw what was in the box for this one. So
it's stunning.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? Our good friend, Mr. Gloucester.
Yeah.
He used their P40 for the basis of his award-winning.
Model.
Damaged P40 with the ammo belt hanging out of the wing.
Okay.
Is that where the kit comes from?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why it's such a stunner.
Yeah. So that was a great experience, that round table.
Well, it's on your shoulders now to get back the.
Geez, I'm up with some stiff competition.
You are.
I'm up with some very stiff competition.
So Chris Meddings, Darren Cook's going to be building.
Yep.
Kentucky Dave. I don't know who from the Plastic Posse is going to be building.
No, me neither.
Or from the Small Subjects.
Small Subjects.
I don't know who's going to be building theirs. So you got some stiff competition, man.
Yeah. I'll have to pull my finger out.
You will.
Yeah.
Because Chris Meddings and Darren Cook, I mean, not to say to belittle Dave at all, but
they've got some vicious skills.
Yes, very true.
100%.
Very, very true.
I don't think I want to play anymore.
Yeah, you're in the big leagues now.
I am. Yep.
Yeah.
Big leagues. Playing with the big boys.
Yeah.
It should be fun. No, I'll enjoy it. And if anyone's seen the footage, I had a smile when I saw the kit coming out. I just broke out in the biggest smile, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be awesome."
Yeah.
That was It was like, hey, finally we get something that's not Gundam or something weird, something I can really sink my teeth in.
And we must, of course, thank IPMS Hamilton for continuing
definitely.
once again to sponsor and support the Musaru Cup, which has just grown and grown and grown. And
it's 6 or 7.
I think 7 now. 7 podcasts they're supporting. So
it's grown quite large.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Actually, I'll be catching up with those boys when I head over there in January, I think.
Yep. No, excellent. Another thing we got to touch on is meeting up with all our fans and listeners.
Yes, it was just so amazing.
Well, I couldn't take 2 steps without someone tapping you on the shoulder, introducing themselves, wanting a photo, and just having a chat. And it was just, that was the most humbling.
I could feel it coming in some cases. You know? Like I'd be in the elevator on my way down from my room, and then I could feel like their eyeballs shift to the name tag on my that I had on, and you can see them read the part that says Australian. Like, oh, Australia! Oh, you wouldn't be those guys from the podcast, would you? Yeah.
But no, we met so many of our loyal listeners. Finally, one of my highlights was meeting up with Mark Box and his lovely wife, because Mark and I have been chatting online for a bit, and to actually meet him in person was an absolute bonus.
Well, you introduced him, you're like, oh, Mark Box, and I was my impression was who, right? But I mean, like by the end of that stint in Omaha, like we'd spent so much time hanging out with him.
Him, Martin Drayton, another great guy.
And here's just a few of the other names that I wrote down. So there was Steve Schaefer, Steve Hastad, Mike Copeland, Dustin, I didn't get your second name. Paul Glosser, of course, is an expat from Australia.
Yeah, that was a real bonus meeting up with him.
He's working in California at the moment. Scott Hall, Bob Blair, and also Dave and Hank Knopfler.
Yes.
Of course, Hank, which is the son of David, he actually won 2 Juniors Awards, I think, from memory.
Yeah, did quite well.
And there were 2 other weird characters we met over there. A guy called Brad Belsheim.
Yes. And
who's the other weirdo? Oh, Dave Morris. That's right.
Yeah, great.
What a couple of absolute characters.
Brad is probably one of the greatest storytellers we've ever come across.
But it's so funny because Brad is this sort of, he's like 6 foot something, and he's like a teenage boy who's got ADHD. He's sort of always around here. He's all this action,
he's got a lot of youthful energy in the way he sort of, like he walks into a room and he just lights up the room with that personality.
Yeah.
And then you got his mate Dave, who's a complete foil against him because he's like the straight man, the quiet, he's
the brakes on that car.
Yes.
So we had a fun night because Brad, David, and Mark Box took us out to dinner to Hooters.
Yes,
and
a traditional American dinner.
Yes, it was, and we had quite a few beers there and the things to eat. But those guys were just an absolute hoot to hang around with those 3.
Oh, we had such a great time.
We did.
I look forward to having particularly Brad on, because I'm sure that if even like 10% of his presence translates through audio only, he's just a character and a half.
It's going to make a hell of a show.
Funny guys.
He's a character and a half.
They were funny guys. All right, so now I'm going to do a public service announcement. We caught up with another one of our listeners, Michael Kritikos, Kitikos. A nice Greek name. But, sorry, Michael. I warned you that I was going to stuff it up. But Michael invited us out to go to the to Freedom Park, which is actually in Omaha, Nebraska. And Freedom Park on the Saturday, but unfortunately we were too busy with all the other stuff we were doing. And Freedom Park has some very interesting World War II and post-World War II stuff there. Of note, it actually has a minesweeper from World War II, which is the the USS Hazard, I should say, which is an admirable class minesweeper that served the United States Navy. And she actually served in Okinawa as a minesweeper in the later stages of the war. And she's been preserved at Freedom Park in Omaha. And there's also there's a submarine, the USS Marlin SST, which was a target and training submarine, which is about 133 feet long. But so Michael went out there and had a look, and he's asked us to mention this because they're in a little bit of strife out there. They're struggling with people to help look after the exhibits that are there, and also I do believe they're also after some funding as well. So if you work or live in the area of Omaha or the outskirts and you're looking for something to donate your spare time, you can't go past hooking up with the people at Freedom Park. And I've got a phone number here. It's 402 444 5900. Or there's another number which may or may not be a fax number, 402 444 3798. So give them a call. Better yet, if you can't donate your time or your money, actually visit the place, because by visiting the place you will help as well.
Correct.
And it's important that we maintain and look after these items, which is, it's such an important part of our history.
Totally agree.
I mean, where else do you see a minesweeper from World War II, still hanging around?
Exactly.
In a landlocked state.
In a landlocked state as well.
Yep.
Absolutely. So thanks, Michael, for bringing that up. And Mike's such a nice guy, one of our listeners as well. It's fantastic to hear from. All right. I think we should perhaps now dive in and actually talk about the actual reason, apart from all the cool guys and girls we met over there, the actual reason for going, which was the IPMS show itself.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I was absolutely blown away by the show.
Oh, me too. It's just huge.
Kentucky Dave said to me, he said, before we left, he said, you'll be blown away. And I said, yeah, righto. And I was.
We were
we were
totally blown away.
He was 100% right.
The competition area is massive. There was, over 2,000 kits?
Well, I actually spoke to IPMS President Dave Lockhart, and we confirmed there were 2,750 entries, which equates to around nearly 3,500 actual models, individual models, which are on display.
So you couldn't. It was that big that you couldn't actually go through and look everything in one hit.
No.
You basically just took one table,
yes,
and you did a big circle around it, and you went out for half an hour. Because otherwise, it was just too much.
You couldn't absorb everything at once.
Yeah. And even I went in and out there for the 4 days. I've lost count how many times I went in and out and had a look at kits. And still online now, I'm looking at photos, going, I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing that one. I don't remember seeing that one. And I thought I saw everything. The quality of work was amazing.
Quality of work was very high.
The amount of armour kits.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just crazy.
And aircraft kits on top of that, which have to be obviously the largest sort of sector of the whole lot.
Automotive. I
couldn't believe how many automotive. Well, I guess it makes sense because America, can't have other cars. But, and so there are what, 2 full tables of cars and motorcycles?
Easily. And some of them were just amazingly built.
Yeah.
The finish on some of these cars was just incredible.
One thing that I felt though is that it gave a lot of inspiration to me. Just seeing those models, because in a way, you see a lot of these kind of builds, you see them in magazines, and then you see them in person, and you're like, well, that is every bit as amazing as I knew it would be. But it somehow humanized it.
And it makes you feel like it's achievable.
Yeah, it makes it feel like it's sort of within reach. And you're like, oh, you know what? That's not... It's not that it's not that it was underwhelming compared to what I thought it was. It just felt within reach. Like, oh, well, if that's a model and that's right there in front of me, then I should be able to do that too.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a weird feeling.
Definitely.
You often see in magazines tanks that have a lot of you know, like maybe you looked at it in a magazine and went, oh, that's a bit too much. That's a bit too much shading for my liking. And then you see it in person, you're like, actually, you know what?
It works.
That looks all right. It looks great.
Yeah.
There were
I should do that.
There were so many kits I saw that I've only ever seen online or in magazines, in articles, and go, oh, I remember seeing that in a magazine, or I remember seeing that on an article. Or I remember watching Will Patterson build his P40, and here it is.
Oh, to see that in the flesh
was just freaking amazing, wasn't it?
Pictures don't do it justice.
No,
You got to see it. If you ever get the opportunity, and I hope Will's going to take it to a couple of other shows. If you ever get the opportunity to have a look at it, it is a beautiful build. And I can't. Oh, geez, imagine what his F18 is going to be looking like.
Yeah, exactly. It's just.
But even amongst the podcast dudes, there was some. I mean, I already mentioned it. That TJ, he walked away with about from Plastic Posse. He walked away with about 4 awards. The Geeks, they cleaned up. They walked away with 3, which was not too bad. And Samo's model he did. Oh my God, it was just.
Which one was that?
It was the Phantom.
Oh yeah.
And Darren Cook's F18 and Frildo's Tracker. Oh my God!
That Tracker was amazing,
wasn't it?
Yep.
So here's the thing: how can a guy with such a big, huge handshake
do such
delicate, fine work?
But the thing is, it's not like anyone had to tell you it was an amazing build. Like even if you didn't know it was his, you would have walked past and gone, "Yeah, that's amazing. That's an astounding piece of work right there." It just called out to you.
It did. Yep. Like
you just sort of. You just went, oh, you know what? I'm not looking at anything else on this table anymore. I'm just looking at that thing.
Tell you what, I don't think it impressed me too are the ship models.
The ship models.
Yeah, yes. The ship models were great.
Now, it's interesting because you were talking about taking your USS England and you would have been in...
they wouldn't have even looked at mine.
Oh, they would have looked at yours. Yours is good. But, geez, there were some really good ones there.
No,
and the one that won, which is HMS Belfast.
Yes. That was stunning.
It was.
Well, and another one that really impressed me was our listener Mark Box did that little Japanese seaplane tender,
and he's
in 1/700 scale, and he's even got little guys in there.
But here's the thing: he was doing the rigging on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Before he entered it.
Yeah.
I mean, to do the rigging, I've got to sit there and not have any coffee for 2 days and have all this light and have my, OptiView.
Another good one, he entered 2 kits. The other kit he entered was a 1/144 scale Focke-Wulf D9 with the JV44 markings with the red and white stripes underneath and a flying base. And that looked amazing.
Yep.
There's some real talented guys there.
Speaking of your USS England, I mean, I don't know anyone who's seen that and not been blown away by the rigging on it alone, you know. Yeah. And there was a guy there who'd built 4 of those, all in different schemes right next to each other.
Yep.
That just I was like, what is that? Yeah. That's not supposed to exist.
Right, and then also someone did the Japanese centerline for the Imperial Japanese Navy during the Battle for Guadalcanal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had identical boxes.
Yeah, 5 ships going from, I think, the Congo all the way down to the... one of those destroyers. I can't remember the name of it off my head. And they were beautiful builds.
I was there when he packed up too, and he had because each individual ship kit was inside its own wood and perspex box kind of thing. That the perspex was one piece that had sort of been bent twice to make a U shape, right? And that sort of went into this wooden sort of
that was
thing.
My good mate James, the Beandog from Virginia.
Yeah.
Legend. He did a was it Constitution class? I think carrier and or USS Constitution, and the actual wooden box he had built for it was like an old ammo box that looked like he'd hand built, and that was an amazing build. It just blew my mind. But the one thing that really blew my mind was actually the first kit I saw when I went in there, and it's still I reckon is one of my favourite builds, and that was someone scratch built a it was like a Chevrolet custom truck or concept truck that was... It's like one of those Dreamliner buses, the rounded front, and it had a whole workshop inside with a lathe.
Not Dreamliner, it's Futureliner.
Futureliner.
Yeah, right. Those weird truck type red and chrome kind of things that they used to showcase technology all around the country.
Yeah, from the 50s. And he had a lathe in there, milling machine, drill press, and
what scale was it?
I don't know. I don't know, but geez, it was amazing. It was just blew my mind. Just that someone actually built this from scratch.
35th or 48, something like that.
No, it was bigger than 48. Way bigger than 48.
35th then, must have been 35th.
No, it was bigger than that too.
No, it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Nah.
You look at the size of the door at the front.
Nah.
It's hard to tell because those like the vehicles that it's based off of, they are really big.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one in person, Dave?
No.
So they've well, not that I have either, but I've seen the photos, and it's like a staircase at the front. When you open the door, there's like a staircase that heads up to the front.
Yeah, the door's at the front of the bus.
Yeah.
And the front wheels, they're actually dually. There's two on each side. On the front wheels.
Yeah, dual front
not
wheels.
the rear.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Those things are insane.
The thing about, and I need to step back and maybe talk about the actual show itself, because the way it was run, I thought was extremely well done. So, for listeners who have never been to an IPMS in the US, when you pre-register for the show, when you get there, you go up to the desk and you'd say your name, and they hand you the package.
Yes.
And so it comes with your name tag. It's got a couple of goodies in there.
Yeah, pin.
A show pin,
Yeah.
which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why we don't do it here in Australia.
T-shirt.
T-shirt if you've ordered your T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yep. And also a map with a diagram telling you all the stuff that's going to be on over the 4 days as well.
Yep.
A number of tickets, like raffle tickets.
Yeah, there's a free raffle ticket as well. I'm going to talk about the raffles later on too.
And the decal sheet.
And the decal sheet, of course, the decal sheet that we
Yes.
got, which is just drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, 148 and 72nd.
So there was decals there for in 48, 72nd, and 1350 because also
the ship decals.
The ship decals as well. And then from there you go and enter your model. So you go across to the desk, and again, if you've pre-registered and pre-done your stuff and printed it off, you just hand them the sheet.
Yep.
And they confirm that yes, it's you, and then tell you where to go to put your model, and you just walk in and drop it. It was absolutely there was no stress whatsoever.
No.
And it was all
For me, it was easy because where my kit was, it was right at the front.
Yeah.
So I just walked in over there, it goes boom.
And the way it was run, I've just got to take my hats off to all the guys and girls behind the scenes who are running it, because it made everything just so seamless for the entrant and the person who was coming in to join the show. So extremely well done, and hats off to you on that.
We had like a very, because we had Model Expo here like 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And so there was like a very close sort of comparison that you could draw.
Yes.
So like when I'd gone through that process for here, it's sort of like, here's my model. It's in category 33A, and you're sort of walking up and down the tables trying to find 33A. And 33A has got nothing, is nowhere near number 34, so there's no frame of reference. But in this at the Nats, it was not like that. It was like, okay, you're on table 322, and
there was a map showing where 322 was on the wall, so you could look before you walked in.
And they hadn't broken it up like, with our event. It's like, okay, you got 30-second scale aircraft down that end, and you got 70-second scale aircraft at the opposite end.
Yeah.
And so you're constantly hunting around for like this category, whereas at the Nats, all the aircraft were grouped together.
And everything
armor was together.
And it all follows numerically.
Yeah.
So you just find a number and you just follow it on till you get to your number.
Yep.
Which, as you said, just made it so much easier.
Yep. But then there were some weird things about it as well.
Yep.
And for me, some of the weird things was how many aircraft categories there were.
There was a lot. And armour.
So
everything's broken up into subcategories.
So there was things like, and I'm just going off the top of my head now. So there was aircraft Allied World War II inline engines.
Yep.
Aircraft Allied World War II radial engines.
Yep.
Aircraft Allied World War II multiple engines. And it just categories, and then there was the same for the Axis, and it just went a lot. There were a lot of
post Korea.
Yeah. There was a lot of subcategories or different categories we don't necessarily have here.
Subcategories.
Yeah.
I suppose when it'd make it a bit easier for the judges, so they don't get lumbered with all right, we've now got to judge 400 kits.
I can see why they do it. I understand why they do it, but it struck me as a bit. Oh, well, that's
different
interesting.
to what we do.
Yeah, we do the same thing too, and we thought we think it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
right?
but it's even to the extreme. Over
Yeah,
there.
no, because the sheer size has just blown it to
Well,
such
that's
a
right. I mean,
ridiculous degree.
you're getting 2,700 models, so you got to have to break it down somehow, don't you?
Exactly.
I guess?
Otherwise, no one will be able to judge.
Yeah, and it also means that there's more medals, not medals, but more first places to go around.
Yep.
Well, speaking of first places, and we didn't even. We all took kits over and didn't place at all.
Right. But our good friend Sam Dwyer brought a kit over.
Yes, he
and
did.
pulled first place.
He pulled first place.
Yep.
And Paul Gloucester took a model over, and while he didn't get first place, he did get a challenge coin from a weird little group which is called the Mystery Modelers Syndicate.
Yeah.
And it's a secretive group that travels all around the US and maybe around the world. And what they do is if they see a model that just really appeals to them, so I guess you could say it's your peers looking at it and saying...
People's choice, sort of.
Yeah. But you don't know who these dudes are.
No,
Nobody knows who they are.
No.
And they put a challenge coin down next to the model that they think is cool.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool recognition. So Sam got one for his tank, and Paul Gloucester got one for his P40.
Yes.
Which I thought was really cool.
Before this trip, I didn't even know what a challenge coin was.
Oh, didn't you?
No.
I got a drawer full of them.
Okay.
But see, I'm ex-military, so I get it. I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Never heard of it.
No, what are they all about now?
And then even if I'd come across it, unless you'd explained it, like sort of told me that this is a thing that people do, I would have said, well, what's the point of that? I would have just, I don't know, maybe chucked it in a drawer somewhere and forgotten about it.
Oh, no. It's
thrown it out a decade later.
No. In fact, I've got to get a display made up for my challenge coins so I can sort of walk them up and display, because I've got some really cool ones.
I'll put them on a frame.
No, because then you got to add to them. You got to add more coins to them as you go collecting along the way. So
well, that's why you fill one frame. Make sure you got enough to fill one frame, and then you put that up.
Yeah, maybe. I'll think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. They should be on. It's a certain way to display challenge coins. So yeah.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can put them in a frame if you want to be one of those dudes.
Drill a hole through
If
it.
you want to be one of those dudes, is that considered bad taste in the
Well, the thing with challenge coins,
coin
usually
community?
There's something on both sides.
Yeah, that's
so
why
you'll be able to
that's
pick it
why
up
you
and have a
drill a
look.
hole through it and put a string in it.
Bite your tongue. Oh my God, you heretic. Okay, so I really want to address the elephant in the room, I guess, and talk about what I didn't like or found. No, not didn't like, which I found weird about IPMS Nationals, and that's the judging.
Right. It's totally different than what we do.
It is.
Totally different.
And I think if I'm going to be brutally honest, and I don't think there's too many people out there who would disagree with me, I think that they need to be brought into the modern age, the judging, the way they judge. Because as it stands, you could go and build a 1/72 scale Spitfire. You could paint it purple and have yellow polka dots on it and still win first prize.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're assuming that your construction is impeccable.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the one thing.
And your paint job's impeccable.
Yeah.
And your paint job's impeccable. And as long as you can clear those two things,
you'll get through to first place.
Well, maybe not through the first place, but you're in the chance. You definitely blow past like 80% of the opposition, right? Easily.
Yeah.
Because you get disqualified quite easily.
Yeah. And
my kit got disqualified.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, my kit copped a bit of a beating on the way to the show.
Well, a bit of a beating. It got turned upside down by TSA.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much squashed it.
Yeah.
So you had to rebuild
the thing. And in the rush to rebuild it, and where I had to rebuild it was in the vendors room. So there was people all around me, and I'm trying to glue this thing back together, and one of the rear wheels wasn't perfectly straight. And as soon as the judges saw that, disqualified.
Yeah.
So the rest of the build didn't matter. Didn't matter about the finish or anything else of the build, but he was automatically disqualified.
Yep.
We don't do that here.
No.
With us, it's merit. It's
well, I mean,
it's a point system.
All facets of the model are judged at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can be afforded a loss. I mean, like there's different weighting to different portions of the model, right? The construction counts for quite a lot.
Yep.
making a mistake there definitely hurts your chances a lot more than making a mistake in attention to detail or something like that.
Yep.
But you're not out of the running.
No, because I don't have any
until your entire model is assessed for all of its quality.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
That I found a bit weird, but hey, it's their comp, their rules.
Oh
I just
yeah,
have to live by it.
So here's the thing. So and it's interesting because I've done the Australian one. I've now done the US one. I'm definitely going to New Zealand next year to check out them, and I'll probably do a judge there. I didn't judge at Nationals this year because first time I want to absorb and enjoy the whole show. But certainly if I ever go, when I do go again, I will be doing judging over there. I think that by just concentrating purely on construction only and having and that's the be all and end all. And I heard it said a couple of times, you're not sort of pushing modelers to sort of take risks in some regards. And I can understand and see that. And I think that that's perhaps a correct argument.
A lot of people we met also had similar thoughts about
it. Which surprised me because I got pulled aside by a fair few people who actually asked me how we judge in Australia. And then when I mentioned it to how we did it, and they were just like gobsmacked and wondering why they don't do the same.
It's actually just a really small change.
Yeah.
And it makes all of the difference.
Yeah. Exactly.
So many people, every person went, they're like, how are you enjoying the show, enjoying the United States? Okay, but what do you really think about the judging is what I want to really ask. And they would ask us that, and I'm like, well, got to be honest with you. I mean, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So look, I think there was a time and place for the judging style that IPMS currently do, but modelling has moved.
I have a reason. I think I know the reason why they do it.
Okay,
and then I think the reason is because if you have a lack of volunteers for judging, it enables you to immediately remove large numbers of models from the running.
Oh, but they had heaps of judges there.
They do now. Maybe that in the past they didn't.
No,
and it's a relic of the past that really needs to be brought into the present.
I get that they really concentrate on the construction, and I don't think that should be given up or thrown out with the baby with the bathwater with that. I do get that, but I think there should be some more allowances for the more modern modelling techniques that we're now seeing. And weathering and all that.
And what got me?
I don't think that a kit should be excluded because it hasn't had weathering, and I don't think a kit should be excluded if it has had weathering. I think you should be able to. Well, that's why I'm really not quite impressed with the way we do it because the point system allows the differences between the two.
It's a lot fairer.
Yes, and the fact also that you can you get points for your references as well,
which is I found slightly frowned upon.
It didn't play any place whatsoever in that.
And people go, it's what you mean a brag book?
Well, no,
it's referencing. It's what I did. And I found that quite astounding. That a lot of the comments were, well, a brag book. Yeah, it's like, well, to us, it's not a brag book. It's us explaining to the judges what we've done to this kit, how we've gotten to the stage.
Got from opening the box to the kit you see in front of you that you're judging.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Because I brought my reference with me, and then I brought it into the competition hall and put it down, and someone, he's got a brag book, and I just bugger, I'll take it back to my hotel room, and it just stayed in my suitcase for the rest of the time.
Well,
I didn't want to look like it.
For us, it's almost like presenting our case for why this model deserves a win.
Yeah. Well, not deserves a win, but
deserves to be considered.
Yeah. I mean, like, what was my
intent?
Yeah, what did I want to achieve with this model, and how close did I come?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's interesting because you got that style, you got amps. I can see why now. I can really see why amps is becoming so popular over the Armour.
Definitely.
And this is why I'm really keen to see how the Geeks pull off their show next year, because they're doing a modelling show next year, and they're applying something similar to amps for their show that they're running. And I'd be really keen to see, and unfortunately I can't get over there, but I'd love to hear that they're going to do it, because they're going to apply it's going to be bronze, silver, gold, not first, second, third. to all the models in their show. And it won't just be
excellent.
aircraft, it'll be ships, cars, armour,
Yep.
all of that. So
that sounds great.
that'd be really cool.
Definitely.
And the more and more I think about it now, the more I'm leaning towards bronze, silver, gold for all sort of events now in some respects, rather than just first, second, third.
Yeah.
At least that's what the thing I found disappointing about Nationals is that there was no even commendation for models that didn't get like third or anything at all. It didn't place.
Yeah, there was nothing to guide.
There was nothing to guide you. But what was interesting, this is really interesting, was on the, I want to say Saturday, there was about 5 judges sitting outside.
Yep, and they can scrutiny your...
And you could bring your model out to them and they'd scrutineer and tell you what they thought was good about it, what they thought was bad about it, or where you needed to improve the work. But I never saw anybody taking advantage of those 5 judges sitting out the front there when I walked past a couple of times.
Once I saw someone
Just
there.
once, okay.
Once that I saw, yeah.
So I thought that was lost opportunity for people to perhaps get some one-on-one.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't know that was going on.
But I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah,
and
same here,
I
yeah.
think maybe that's something we should look at here in Australia, doing that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's subject to volunteering, and so again, you run into those issues. But you know what? This whole construction heavy brand of IPMS judging, it reminds me of fine scale modeler of the 90s and 80s. You know, I grew up,
hasn't it?
I grew up, reading those magazines.
Yeah.
That was the only way you could get in touch with sort of the wider modeling community and what was going on. And you remember reading those articles and going, and every sort of thing that was like, oh, that's cool, was because it was a construction thing. Like, oh, he used the gold foil from a candy wrapper to make the heat shielding on this thing. You know, all those sort of. But there was never any innovations with regards to like paint finish and
the paint finish is pretty much a
weathering
thing now,
and
it's all become all modern stuff
and effects and there was no basing done. No basing, no figures.
No, totally agree.
Yep.
Very aircraft centric, very construction centric.
But you know what? And that is, if the judging thing is the only small fault I can pick, and not that I went over there looking for faults, that's perhaps maybe 5-10% of what my experience was at Omaha.
It was all about the people.
It was all about the people, first and foremost. It's about catching up with our fan base, catching up with the other podcasters, catching up with all the other modelers.
It was just an excuse to get together with all the people that
100%,
you know.
Yeah, or don't know. People you get to meet,
exactly.
And checking out some great model. The vendor rooms were interesting.
Yeah. Edward was there.
Yes.
Ravel was there.
Not interesting enough for me to put down any money, though.
Oh, well.
And then, we can't forget Louis Vargas.
Yes.
The man. Like, this guy could sell...
Ice to an Eskimo.
no way, he could sell refrigerators to Eskimos.
Yeah.
And then do a side deal to sell them blocks of ice. Right? This guy was the ultimate talker. You start a conversation and you get about half a sentence in and he put his hand up and he goes, wait, stop. And as soon as he did that, you knew he had control of the conversation. And he would just go on. And one of the funniest guys I've met, the guy is an absolute legend. I reckon he what he does for the hobby is brilliant. For those that don't know, Vargas Models is it's his own business. It's all 3D printed and it's all weird and eclectic First World War armour, artillery, and stuff like that.
And that's what started out, though. He's starting to branch out now.
Yeah, now he's doing modern artillery.
Modern artillery, 155mm. Yeah.
And I spent nearly $500 US with him. It was just, there was so much weird, eclectic armour that you just cannot get here. And if you go buy it from him overseas, you'd be paying an absolute squillion getting it posted down here.
Yeah.
So I managed to basically I did fill a suitcase with nothing but model kits.
And of course, Edward was there, weren't they?
Yes, so I picked up the new Spitfire Mark 5C.
Yep.
Picked up the new Mitsubishi Zero A6M2 Type 11.
Yep.
And I am the first person in Australia in my hands to have the F4F/3 Wildcat from Edward, and it is a stunning kit.
And the only reason we're the first is because Sam Dwyer's still on the wide travelling back, so you bring him home.
I beat him to it.
I'm surprised you didn't get one, Dave.
You know, I thought about it and I looked at it and I hummed and hard and, you know, nah.
And I even had the paint scheme that you like.
Yeah, I know. The yellow wings and everything,
Yeah.
pre-World War II.
Yeah.
So I bought enough there to keep me happy. I picked up a couple of, or three from Vargas Hobbies. I got...
The Bob Semple tank?
Yes.
Yes, so we both got a Bob Semple
the Ford
tank.
3-ton tank.
Yep, me too.
And there's also a World War I British tank with a great big huge thing. I can't think of its name.
Oh, did you order one of them?
Yeah, so it's getting posted out because he hasn't finished printing them yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's anybody who's afraid of looking at 3D printed items to purchase. These kits are just
Oh, they're stunning.
gorgeous. So
Absolutely stunning.
don't be
The
afraid.
quality is just amazing.
Yep. Bought a couple of airbrushes because the price was right over in the US, even with the dollar conversion. So I pulled me trigger finger on 2 Iwata airbrushes.
Nice.
And I've got some tools and some books as well. About 4 books that I can't get here, or it's easier to just buy from there. But by and large, it for our Australian listeners, if you can think what IPMS Nationals in Australia is, if you can think about our entire room where we normally have all the hobbies, all the models,
Melbourne Model Expo
would be completely full as a vendor room. That's how big it was.
And there was a second vendor room too.
And I hear that the Texas show next year, the vendor rooms are even going to be more vendor rooms on top of that again.
Lovely.
So it's going to be larger and bigger, and
Yeah.
whoever goes.
It was good to actually
have a lot
like
of fun.
talk to the guys too.
Yeah,
I managed
yeah.
to have a good conversation with oh god, no, it's totally slipped my mind. Roy Sutherland from Barracuda, terrific fella. Wish him all the best. The poor guy's suffering from COVID at the moment.
Yeah, he picked it up at the show.
Gary Buchholz, the author, is another fascinating guy to talk to.
Oh, that reminds me. Now, we had someone come up to us and ask us, who was the listener who wanted to get in contact with us about the author, Michael John Claringbold?
Oh, yeah.
Can you just write into us again at, excuse me, on the bench64@gmail.com and just let us know who you were?
Yeah.
Because you're asking about who, if you can get in contact with that author. And I'm pretty sure that we can.
Yeah,
do
we
it
should
in
be
this
able
end.
to. We should be able to.
So, yeah.
But no, it was good. It was I was blown away by the vendor room. It was just the sheer size of it. There was a lot of guys there that were selling off their own like stashes.
Yes, that was kind of weird.
But
But kind of good as well, because you could get some good deals and
yeah,
really screw the...
I think as Julian said at the club meeting last night, if you wanted the monogram B17, you were pretty much the world was your oyster.
I was sick and tired of seeing that kit, let me tell you.
Still a classic.
Every second kit.
Well, dude, you're in the US. What do you expect?
Yeah.
No, because there were kits there that I wish were there, but weren't. Things like the Hasegawa A4 Skyhawk.
Oh, man, that's so hard to get. That's so hard to get.
Exactly. Obviously, being the United States, everyone wants that kit.
Oh, the geeks buy that kit. That's why you can never see any.
One of the vendors I found interesting was at the front. They had a guy selling bases.
Bases by Bob.
Yeah.
Bill Bases.
Or something like that.
Bob,
Yeah.
I've got his flyer floating
Yeah.
around somewhere. They
That's
were
some-
gorgeous.
They're stunning bases.
Yeah.
Absolutely
gorgeous.
stunning bases. Yeah, no, it was...
Has
It was a big eye-opener.
has it given you any thoughts about your own base
No.
making?
No, I don't. Some of them were a little bit extravagant for my tastes.
Extravagant in price or in
Just the
design?
design.
Okay.
Oh, the design.
Yeah.
A bit too over it takes away from the model kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I myself, I prefer a plain base with a bit of groundwork, and that's about it. Mind you, at the show, there was one guy, you could always tell his work, and he had like a rectangular base, and then he had a little triangle on the side with the information.
All right.
on his wood, and I thought that looked really clever. Really clever. Some of the guys, the way they did their bases, gave me some ideas.
Yeah, some smart ones there.
That's what I like to hear. Because, I mean, generally you're pretty set in your ways with regards to bases because you like to maintain consistency.
Correct.
Right?
But I like having information.
Yeah. I
really like
it too.
information on the bases. So if I can figure out a way of doing it and adding information and so forth.
How cool would it be to incorporate like challenge coins into the bases?
No. The heck, no.
Why not?
No, you don't do that
Well,
stuff.
let's say that you did the Missouri and you had a USS
Well,
Missouri
yeah,
challenge coin
yeah,
type thing.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
I guess you could, yeah, but
Well, that was a funny thing about when we went to
reluctance.
when we were at the Missouri. I was having a look at all the actual Missouri memorabilia they had there. And it was like all the stuff they made from the teak decking, and
that's expensive.
I was looking at one of the pens. I was thinking, I might get a pen for me because my neighbour helped me out.
$200 or something?
$225 for a pen, and then they had like this
And
big.
it's a chunky pen too because
Yeah.
it's made out of a piece of wood.
Yeah, it's made out of teak. But then they had this bit of teak, which would have been about a foot long,
Yeah.
and someone had engraved the badge of the Missouri in
Yep.
there, and I looked at it, and I went to have a look at the price, and I went, no, I'm not even going to look at the price.
Oh,
It was
you didn't
about
look
a
at the
foot
price?
long. About a foot
Wow.
long, and it would have been absolutely perfect for Missouri build. But I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not even going to look at that. It'll be worth probably $600-700 US.
Well, it was interesting because while we're there, they were redoing the deck in some
Yeah,
parts.
sections. Yeah.
And you saw just how much wood comes out of that thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And they do that. They probably redo that deck every X number of years, right? Like maybe once every 20 years. Even if they do it once every 20, that's a lot of wood.
That's a lot of timber going in there.
Well, that's why the pen was $275 because they need to pay for the upkeep.
Yeah,
of the
that's
ship.
it. Yeah.
Okay, here's one of the weird things about the show.
Yep.
What's really amused me. The raffle, man. Those guys were going nuts for the raffle.
Oh yeah.
Did you see? It's like some sort of. It's like you've never seen gambling before anywhere in the US. They were going off.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the closing of the stock market, you know?
yes, 100%. They were going absolutely.
Feverish.
Yes. Oh, and the crowds are pushing around and
The way I heard of
dudes are buying
explained-
raffle tickets as like, 20, 40, 60 raffle tickets this guy's gotten. Oh, man.
I mean, you could see what was on offer for the tickets. You know what you would get if you won.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that great. I mean, like one of them, like you look at there, there's like the occasional like Eduard kit that was being sold like in the
Or
room
around
next door.
Room next door, you can pay. Yeah.
or the new Tamiya P38J.
Yeah.
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 I think what the grand prize was the 1200 Yamato though, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
That's a big
That's a
kit.
damn big kit, man.
I saw that out of the box there.
Yeah.
That is mad.
Yeah.
That is. Where would you put it? That's the
Yeah,
question.
I know. But I just couldn't get over how nuts they were going for the raffle. It's like,
It really is, yeah. And they had so many raffle draws too.
Yes.
They had to have a permanent TV screen
Yeah.
going that listed every winner
Yeah.
for every cat because they sort of broke it down into three.
I thought they were smart. So they had ships, military and aircraft. So you
Yeah.
could put your raffle ticket in whichever box you wanted.
Well, I chose aircraft because that was like the smaller boxes, just in case I did win something. Because I didn't, I was dreading getting a prize, and it's like having something that was like I've got no idea I'm getting at home.
Yeah. So if ever there's culture shock, it was that little segment of what I saw that sort
Yeah.
of went, what the hell?
Yeah, the way I heard it explained to me, like, because I saw it and I was freaking, I was like, what the hell's going on with that? and someone said, oh, well, we're Americans and we quite like a good raffle kind of thing. Of all the things to get into, like raffle? Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, it's a free kit.
I mean, it's a kind of gambling, right? But
Yeah.
even like they're like, I don't think like Americans are that into gambling relative to raffles.
I don't know. The raffles were just going off, man. Absolutely going off.
Definitely.
Oh, it was funny.
Yeah.
Funny as buggery.
No, all in all, it was a great experience.
It was. Just closing off towards the end of the show here, I took across some whole heap of stickers on the bench stickers, and I was expecting to give some out to 4 particular individuals who I didn't catch up with. So David Lockhart, Martin Drayton, Brian McFeeters, and Chris McLean. I had a sticker there for you, but I didn't see you guys. You guys didn't see me.
Actually, I think I may have given Martin a sticker.
Did you?
I think I may. I
right.
gave away a lot of stickers. So Martin, if you did get a sticker, just let us know.
So again, Chris Brian and Martin, if you didn't get one, and Dave Lockhart, just send me an email to onthebench64@gmail.com and with your address, and I'll post one out to you, because, of course, they are supporters of the show.
Yep, long-time patrons.
So it's good to look after them.
Very true.
Right.
I would like to quickly touch on a few sort of thoughts.
Sure.
So, for example, obviously, I've documented my trophy chasing with regards to 72nd scale armor, and how I was one year I was very disappointed here in Melbourne with kind of because I judged the category. There wasn't much there, and what was there was very, very poor. So I made it my quest to put a model into there that of average effort, right? Nothing special. I just wanted to lift the bar up, and if I won, then so be it, and if not, then good. It's of a reasonable standard.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring that up to an average level. That's all I wanted to do.
Yep.
When I was over there, I took quite careful attention of their 72nd scale armor in the US, and I was blown away.
Yeah, they're good.
They
amazing.
really pull out the stops,
especially that 72nd scale radar truck.
That was really impressive.
That was
as an exercise and photo etch and all that sort of thing.
That was massive. That radar.
I was just more blown away by just the more sort of orthodox with like trucks with stowage and stuff in the back. Just simple things like that just really were tidy and nice and spot on and hit the mark, and really, really impressive. Great color depths going on. I was just really, really impressed. And the number of kits in there, really, really impressive.
Yeah.
And then there was the 1/12th scale Maserati. And
man, that was pretty
and
good.
The Lola,
yeah.
and the Fiat.
Nesta, who built it, he was very glad to talk to. He didn't even know I was on a podcast, and he was like, "Joe, I want to get a photo with you."
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, because I told him that I was Australian. He's like, "Oh, you're Aussie, really?"
Was he from Argentina, wasn't he? Or?
I believe he lives in Florida, but he's originally from Venezuela.
Venezuela, that's right. Yes. He
Some
was a very excitable chap, wasn't he?
Yeah, but some of the internationals, like they had a guy who won placings. He was all the way from Tahiti.
He won a lot of things.
Yeah, he was really cleaning up.
Like him, and John Bernani were probably the most called out names during the awards ceremony.
It seemed that
and
way.
wasn't that an epic?
Yeah.
For us Australian listeners, it's
God.
like the Brownlow.
Oh my God. It just went on and on and on. They've got to find a way to speed up the awards somehow.
Well, but I think they sped it up by not handing out trophies. Imagine if they did that and handed out trophies while they were doing it.
But we do it fair enough, we only got about 800 and odd kits at our show, but it takes about an hour to get through it. But, there, it went on for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was huge. What got me also, and this is, I found it was really great, is that they had the nice young lady, the Marine.
The Air Force
girl come in and
Sergeant
and do the sung the Star Spangled Banner, and everyone got up, hands on on heart, and we stood up with the rest of them, and we don't do that here.
Yeah, I know, but just because it wasn't our national anthem, I found it to be an eerie experience.
Yeah,
not really.
I found it to be because the closest I'd come to that was one time when I got invited to a what was it? It was a like a Christian church thing.
Oh yeah,
right. And I had grown up going to a Catholic school, and Catholic schools are very sort of very straight laced. You do your stand up, kneel, all that sort of hoo ha, and then you leave, and people are quiet the entire time. And this was a completely different experience. And as like a 16-something-year-old kid, I was sort of like, this is like right out of the movies. People like dancing in the aisles and things, and to me it was like reminiscent of that experience. Like I was like, wow, this is kind of like this weird mirror of things I've seen on TV so many times, and now that I'm standing here amongst it, it's kind of bizarre. It's exactly how I felt when we first landed in Hawaii.
Yep.
That was bizarre. You know, like you're walking down the street, and then there's like this rescue truck, you know, bright yellow, and it's like exactly like the fire trucks except yellow. And I'd only ever seen them in like movies and TV shows and things like that.
Or one of your favourites, old dude sitting in rocking chairs.
Yeah, the rocking chairs. There was this beautiful hotel, absolutely beautiful.
This in Hawaii.
Yeah, in Hawaii. And out the front of it,
the outrigger.
Yeah, at the front of it, there's these rocking chairs with people in them, just sitting and rocking, and like
in the glaring sun.
In the glaring sun, right? They're just sitting there baking while they rock backwards and forwards in his chairs. Like, it was bizarre, because I can't think of any reason why anyone would do that. Like, oh, I need to sit down. I'll sit down inside where it's got air conditioning.
Yeah, I'll sit in the shade somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I need to sit in a chair. I'd rather one that doesn't rock back and forward. Yeah. You know, it was bizarre. And then we walked past this car park, and there was a guy standing outside it, wearing full pants, eating off a ceramic plate, like even in the middle of nowhere, with chopsticks.
Yeah.
It's almost like, if I had to, like, the way I explain it is, it's like a video game where they'd spawned a character in the wrong part of the map. There were just things like that that was just very, very peculiar, you know?
Yep.
But by and large, I think we had overwhelmingly the best time ever.
Ever, yeah.
And it was just fantastic.
I'm actually planning on going to Texas next year.
Well,
I just thought of the perfect way to explain it. It was like I was the character on the Truman Show. You know?
Well, so Ian's planning on heading back next year.
Yes.
So he'll be representing on the bench next year.
If all the stars align, yes, definitely.
I won't be able to make it because I've already committed to going to IPMS New Zealand next year for their show. So I'm definitely going over there for that, as well as also going to get to South Australia for their show next year as well. And also I'm travelling with Michelle next year overseas as well. Right, so I'm going to do so many trips a year. I've got only so much money and so many holidays available to me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
That'd be cool.
And you've got more than most. Like,
yeah,
you're willing to go to those sort of things and do a lot of that.
My plan next year is to actually spend probably 2 weeks longer.
Yeah.
And do a bit of travelling and see things I've missed out on seeing.
Yeah, because the US is such a big place.
Yeah, and there's so many places. Like,
you've really got to sort of zero in on one particular spot and then just, you know, concentrate your time there and move on to another spot and concentrate on there. If you try to do the whole enchilada at once, you just get heartburn.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I've got to say, I was very impressed with the US trip. Just the overall genuine, how friendly people are over in America. And how
lovely people.
How they just make you feel so welcome.
100% lovely people. Great.
I don't think I came across one person I didn't like.
No.
Yep. Everyone treated us really well. It was great.
The reception was just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. And, you know, it's... I've travelled to the US about 8-9 times now, and I just love the place. It's just so interesting.
And even like when we made mistakes, they were still accommodating. Like when David, I decided at one time I had that many model kits, and I had a soft shell suitcase, and it was like, these things are going to get destroyed by the time I get home. So let's go buy a new suitcase.
That's right.
So Dave and I took off down to the local Costco there.
We just across the road from the convention centre.
Yeah, which was still a hell of a walk.
It was in that heat.
That heat, because it was it's very hot over in America at the moment. And not being Costco people, not having a Costco card, not knowing I needed the Costco card, we just followed the crowd in. And
we walked in. We didn't get carded as we walked in, as they say.
And there was a nice young lady we spoke to. She found out we were from Australia, so she sent us to the right area to buy a suitcase.
Yep.
Got up to the counter and lady says, "Where's your card?" And what card? How'd you get in? Well, we just followed the crowd in.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she got. You can see she was getting a little bit flustered. And next thing you know, the security guard comes up, and I'm thinking, "Oh, here we go."
And then another person came up. Jennifer, I think it was Jennifer. Yeah,
lovely Jennifer came up. And
Jennifer from Omaha, Costco. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're a freaking legend.
Yep.
I think she was like the floor manager or something. And so she's
something
come
or
up
other.
and had a chat with us, and we just explained, "Look, we're sorry, we're silly tourists. We
didn't
don't know any better."
Yeah.
Willing to put the stock back and leave, and she goes, no, come over here. So she just rang it through for us. So thank you, Jennifer, you're a lifesaver.
Absolutely.
So I ended up with, at the end of the show, there was a brand new suitcase I'd used once, and I didn't really want to throw it out. So
your old suitcase went to?
Ivan.
Who bought more kits than you did.
There's a photo online of his stash, what he bought, and he's filled. You know the trolley they had to bring the suitcases in. And Well, that's full of his kits.
Oh my God.
So he ended up with that suit. I just go, look, take this suitcase, mate. It's yours. It's yours. At least you got something to put your stuff in.
Unbelievable.
But that was great. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to fingers crossed. Moons are all, stars are aligned. I'll be there next year, guys. So
100%.
Be prepared for more shenanigans from Ian.
Terrific.
It's going to be epic.
You won't be able to go off to Japan next year.
Yeah, I want to go to Japan. I mean, I know some people there, and I want.
You gonna go during the model show?
Well, hopefully, I can kill a few birds with one stone.
Cool, because you can report back to us on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah,
and check out the big 1/1 scale Godzilla.
Yeah.
The 1-to-1 scale Godzilla.
Yeah.
The big 1/1 scale.
That just is the head that sticks above ground.
Yeah,
so it's still 1-to-1 scale, man. It's still Godzilla.
Yeah, it's Godzilla.
The thing is, like, just Tokyo by itself has probably just as much stuff to see in it as, big portions of the United States all crammed together. It's just a massive playground. It's like either you're going to the retro vending machines where they sell like hamburgers in a can,
that's
or underwear in the vending machine.
No, they don't do that stuff.
They
anymore.
do. They sell underwear in vending machines, man.
Not really anymore.
They sell model kits in vending machines.
They sell everything in vending.
There you go. So underwear,
Guns paints.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we're seeing that. Yeah. You want a specific paint? Good luck.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Good luck.
Crazy.
It's just
then there's the weird towns that are occupied by dolls.
What?
Yeah, there are weird towns occupied by dolls. It's like abandoned towns, because of the declining population. So they're this is a good idea. We'll put all these dolls in it, and it's really creepy.
Sounds like it.
And it's just like the tip of the iceberg. It's so much stuff going on. So many model places to buy models. You go to Yodobashi Camera, buy models. Go to Volks, buy models.
Hey, you'll have fun. Have a lot of fun.
Crazy.
So I'm just planning on just catching up with a lot of people I met this year while I'm over there and spend some time with them.
And the Shizuoka Model Show is in Shizuoka City, which is home to Oshima, Hasegawa, Tamiya, every Bandai.
Well, if you go there, I'm gonna write a letter and you can give it to the head of Hasegawa.
He won't read it. He probably only reads Japanese.
So why aren't you doing any more aircraft kits? What's going on? Why are you doing boxes like Raymond and stuff like that? Come on.
All right, we're going to go to a short break. We still need to listen to one of our ads, so we'll be back very, very shortly, and we'll be coming back to say adios. Whether you build aircraft, armour, ships, science fiction, cars or figures, the Fine Scale Modeler magazine provides the how-to information you need to take your modelling to the next level. In each issue of Fine Scale Modeler, you'll find clear how-to features on model assembly and finishing written by experts, reviews of the hottest model kits and products, tips and techniques for assembling, painting and finishing, as well as inspiring photos of readers' models. To find out how you can get your copy of Fine Scale Modeler, go to www.finescale.com. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the show. So, Ian.
Well, to all our American friends who graciously held us for a week and a half, thank you. You guys rock and love yous all.
Julian.
Yeah, I had a good time. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun floating around the place and being sick a bit, but when I'm actually thinking about it, I was only sick for 2 days. But that was enough to sort of throw a wrench in things, for me.
Yep.
Oh well. I wish I'd spent more time talking to people. Like just one-on-one to sit down, have a yak.
Yeah,
That's
great.
what I wish I could have done.
That was the best part of it. Just one-on-one with the guys. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, I was just because like the time that I was actually able to move around and stuff, I was just disconnected.
Yep.
And couldn't get back on track.
That's cool. Always another time.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
it.
Hopefully there'll be another time in the future, but
Definitely.
I've got so many other things to do.
And I want to say a special thanks to all of our other podcast shows and the people we met, in particular Scott Gentry, TJ, Kentucky Dave, Mike Baskett, the boys from the Geeks. You're all fantastic. And of course, our good friend at Sprue Cutters Union, Will.
Yep.
You guys are all awesome, and you just helped make our time over there that special. Thanks to all the people who came up to us and thanked us for the show, all our loyal listeners. You guys rock. You really make this so much fun and make it what we do.
You've changed our lives.
100%. You've changed our lives, that's for sure. To all our Patreon supporters, thank you for doing what you do. Without you guys, we couldn't be doing the show, so that's fantastic. And we'll be back next week, actually, because we've got to catch back up onto our schedule.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next Saturday with another show. Still got to figure out who the special guest is. I've got an idea who it might be, but we'll see whether he's available or not. So, but in the meantime, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Will do.
Catch you later. Bye.
See ya.
And again, just like to say a huge thank you to everybody who we met over in the US who came up and said g'day to us. We were just actually overwhelmed by the love and support that we felt from all of our listeners over there, and it was really great to catch up with you. And Kentucky Dave, I hope you enjoy the show while you're doing your yard work. So I will see you all next week. Catch you later. Bye.